Put together the words Batman and Sunsoft, and it conjures up images of a shady, dystopian Gotham City with that iconic purple protagonist. One of the sickest looking NES games of the time was the original Batman title. The minimalistic black backgrounds coupled with the gorgeous, colourful foregrounds made for a real treat back in the late 80s. All the while, one of the greatest 8-bit soundtracks of all time thrashed its way along. The game was amazing in every way, with lovely wall jumping mechanics and just the right amount of "God damn it, it's so hardness." It's for sure in my top 3 NES titles, along with Contra and Dracula's Curse. So imagine my excitement when I finally got around to playing the Game Boy version. It's got the same name, it's made by the same people. What could go wrong? I mentioned the NES soundtrack being cracking. It utilised extra channels which really beefed up the drums. The Game Boy version is pretty good too, I have to say, although I would have loved to hear the NES songs reprogrammed instead, as they're so iconic. It's undeniably a Sunsoft soundtrack though. They were second only to Konami in terms of compositional brilliance for me. But then, when you start playing, you immediately realise it's far from the same game. There are no wall jumps, no punching. Batman actually shoots his enemies as his primary assault, which sits strangely with me for some reason. I thought the whole anti-hero idea was that Batman didn't kill people unless necessary. The biggest problem with this title is its overall look. It suffers from the same issue as Super Mario Land. The characters are far too small, leaving a huge proportion of the screen empty. Batman jumps at the same sort of ratio to Mario, something like 3 times his own height. There are random blocks hanging around in the air, some of which are darker than others. These hold an assortment of power-ups. Some make you shoot through walls, one gives you a batarang, which is pretty effective. Several of the icons do daft things like reduce your shots to a pointlessly impotent range, and one that gives you a sinusoidal wavegun, which is basically impossible to use. You need to learn pretty quickly what stupid weapon upgrades to avoid. The backgrounds are pretty stark, but there are some very nice visual effects at the start of each level, which could have been found in some sort of tech demo. It's all very pretty, but constitute man-hours that could have been spent making the sprites more impressive. The Joker towers over Batman, despite them being of a height in the film that the game is supposedly based on. The side-scrolling level towards the end is an annoying contrivance, tacked on to add artificial difficulty to what are otherwise painfully dull levels. It's the same concept as before, except now the screen's moving. There are 2 pretty decent stages just before this that have you piloting the Batwing in some pretty cool shoot-'em-up action. Compared to something like Gradius, it's nothing, of course, but does break up the monotony of the main game, and it's the most fun you'll have the whole game. When writing the final 2 bosses, the devs ran out of either time or effort, as they're complete bullet sponges and are a real anticlimax. Batman is cool, but Batman is not. Fortunately, we'd get 3 more goes at the franchise before the Game Boy library was finished. The first iteration suffers from a sad lack of detail and is irritatingly underwhelming. What went wrong, Sunsoft? That's not like you.